These ducks are about 11 days old. They're about 3 times the size of when I got them. Started them out in this bin when they were 2 days old. They are outgrowing it, not necessarily yet by size, though I would like them to have more space. This water is emptied within an hour. I completely cleaned and changed the bedding last night, and they completely soaked it by emptying out this water several times since then. It's totally full of poop and water. This is just not good conditions to keep them in any longer, so now we have to expand. Now, just for example, this is the container that these ducks were brought home in. I'm going to take one and set it in there. This duck is way too big for this container, and it used to be him or her and the 5 siblings.
It's okay, come on.
So now it's moving day.
So for moving day, we're going to need a couple of things. A tarp, some good bedding, an enclosure, which I'll talk more about later, and then you're going to need a waterer, a feeder, and still a heat lamp. So here you see I put down the tarp. The tarp's got to be big enough to fit the enclosure, whatever size you make on top of it. The enclosure that I've made is a full sheet of 8x4 plywood that was cut into 4-foot by 2-foot strips, and then a little line was cut into each to make them fit together like a puzzle. I'll make a separate video on how to do that at a later date. Then you're going to want to add a nice thick layer of bedding for them. And then, of course, the heat lamp. So now what I've noticed in the previous enclosure was that the ducks are very messy with their water. So I took the bottom of a bunch of jugs and kind of caulked them together. It was just something that I came up with. It's nothing specific, but just try to get something so that the water's not going to go everywhere. And then I put some hardware cloth on top of it, and then the waterer so that they can obviously get their water. So I just kind of set the feeder on top of some bricks so that the bedding doesn't end up so badly inside of the food. And then the water, as I previously said, was getting everywhere. So I put that little plastic thing I made underneath it, and I put the hardware cloth, as you can see, and now hopefully everything that they spit out ends up in there instead of completely soaking the bedding. So now that they're in their new enclosure and they've probably been outside of their old enclosure for about 10 minutes, they immediately run for the water because these ducks have an insatiable need for water. So these very young ducklings are extremely cute. They're fun to have. They need a lot more water than I ever realized. So let's watch them for a few more seconds, and then thank you for watching, and please watch my next video, which is cleaning out this enclosure. And don't forget to like and subscribe.